Welcome back. Looks like Anthony made it. Thanks for showing up. I uh I did a bunch of drafts yesterday and all of them were odd. I think I was a little bored and I pulled some people around the board, did some fun things. I don't know how good they were, but it was fun. Yeah. Oh yeah, that's obviously first. And I appreciate it. Yeah, you can't always have DJ Moore on your team, right? All right, well, I'm gonna I'm not gonna do a full countdown, but in about 10 seconds from now, I'm gonna go ahead and queue up. Welcome, Victor. Thanks for showing up. Well, I got the last spot, so I hope you got in. You did not. Yeah, I loaded in on waiting. Sorry about that. But at least I'm not gonna have to fight somebody for DJ Moore. Yeah, I mean, that's actually one thing that Drafters does better than Underdog. On Drafters, it has a bar underneath with 12 spots. And when an entry happens, you could actually see it pop up. So you know how many spots are left. So if you're trying to do one with friends or stream one or something like that, it's way easier to do. That format's a lot different. Uh, but yeah, after this, I'm gonna go. Like I was looking at combine visits a little bit, or not combine visits, but visits for NFL teams and who they visited. And this website has all of them listed with who had a top 30, a pro day. Uh, what was that one? A combine meeting and a local visit. So I'm going to actually sort through all those. One thing I did notice was that the Bears, where is it? The Bears haven't visited with many people, but two of them are pass catching running backs, which would be the DeAndre Swift role. They've only did what, seven people total, and two of them are replacements for DeAndre Swift. Doesn't feel good. Hey, look, I got the 12 hole. I know I probably should have noticed already. It doesn't really matter. Just draft from wherever you are. I've been, my Brock Bowers has been getting a little lower. I've stopped, I've started doing some different things on the end. I want to be between 14 and 16% on Bowers and Genty, and I want to kind of mix in the other players with them. So earlier today, I had a 12 hole, and I went Genty with Genty with Amon. Amon actually made it. I'm gonna go ahead and take Bowers and see what my exposures show, and try to get unique. Sometimes it doesn't load it correctly because I'm assuming my Genty Bowers is pretty common. Well, apparently I've not done Genty Bowers, so or it didn't remember. Yeah, I'm fine with Genty Bowers. Like that is my 12 and 13. I don't know why this isn't loading up my ranks, but that's fine. every once in a while I have to reset it. There we go. Now I can look and see what I missed. London's who I should have went. Yeah, that's the plan. Genty Bowers. Let's just hope that Gino's the guy. If I The problem with it is you kind of have to pull Gino up because the Jacoby Myers drafter is usually in the middle of the draft. So I may have to pull him up around like a round or two, which is fine that late in the draft. You got a diabolical plan for the next 12 hole. You get Bowers, McBride. Yes, you were talking about that. It sounds fun. On drafters yesterday, I went Jonathan Taylor and Ladd McConkey just because I assume that's extremely low owned. And that tournament's also PPR, full PPR. So Ladd is a little better there, in my opinion. He's probably like London's still probably the better pick, but uniqueness is very good in this style of game. You like drafting 1 and 12? You get more of a license to reach? Yes, absolutely. And like, especially on quarterbacks, like the one I did yesterday where I pulled Lamar, I'll bring it up after this, but I pulled Lamar Jackson and Mike Evans to the one hole with Jamar. And then I pulled Chris Godwin all the way over, and I did a double stack Bucks with Lamar Jackson and Jamar Chase. So Jamar Chase being the unique piece there, and it actually came together very well. It At the end of it, I looked and it didn't really feel like I lost out on that much, honestly. Uh, Let me bring up another tab. I guess I could just come out of here and show the contest real quick. I might have drafted a little bit yesterday. So the team ended up being Lamar Baker, Connor Judkins, Jordan Mason, Rashad White, Garendo, D-Mart, Jamar, Mike Evans, Chris Godwin, Rasheed Rice, Jaden Higgins, Tillman, Yoshi Voss, Savion, Turpin, Andrews, Ingram, Jawan. It feel like any spot was weaker for reaching, like doing that. So, and I expect that, you get the divisional correlation for the possible week 17 also with Lamar and the Bengals. I've not seen many people doing that. And the players I like at the 2-3 turn, I tend to have a lot of right now. And I don't want to end up with 20 some percent T Higgins or McBride. So I'm going to probably get creative from the one hole from now after the Jamar pick. Don't mind sacrificing some ADP value if the compensation is unique combos, more upside. Yeah, that's exactly how I felt, and it's like 11.7% chance that your divisional matchup is the week 17 matchup. So if I land that as well, that'll be very unique. Yeah. And and all right, so I'm actually on the clock now. Sorry about not bringing the board up. I've been trying to get a little bit more of these elite quarterbacks. I don't get to Josh Allen very often. I think I'm just going to go ahead and take him, and we'll see. Do I have Xavier Worthy with him or not? I do not have Worthy with Josh Allen. So I'll go ahead and take the Xavier Worthy with that. Since I don't have much Josh Allen, I wanted to make sure my number one receiver was also not somebody I've taken with him, but it's like a division correlation with Worthy. So go look at the board, see what people done. Well, he got unique in the one hole. Joe Burrow, 24. Get your guys. He took Joe Burrow at 24 and did not take T. Higgins. I mean, not something I would do. Yeah, sometimes being unique is bad, and this may this may be one of those. But back to my point with Mike Evans, like basically from Devonte Adams all the way up to Tyreek Hill, you can kind of argue that that tier is pretty flat. There are definitely guys I prefer there over other guys. And I do think that like Tyreek T, like I think the ADP is kind of correct through there, but I don't think it's that egregious to take Mike Evans over Tyreek or Garrett Wilson or JSN, like so with that being in my mind a flat tier, I really think bringing Evans or Harrison or Worthy or Adams all the way up here, like Adams, no, because Adams used to go at the 4-5 turn, but the rest of them who stayed there all year, like I think it makes sense to bring him over. Yeah, he almost always goes there. The only time he doesn't as a chase drafter is if you don't have T. Higgins and the T. Higgins drafter takes him in the fourth. Very MHJ, but you agree. Yeah, like I even though you're very anti somebody, like I'm actually more anti like I have 11% Harris or 10 or 11% Harrison. Uh but I think his lack of production last year was more because of his style of game with Kyler's style of game. Kyler tends to play a little more street ball, and Harrison runs very precise routes, and like he's a timing game guy, and that's never been Kyler's strong suit. But they're gonna have an entire like Harrison's learned the offense now. They're gonna have an entire off season to practice together. If that happens, that's great. Uh, I think that they can get it to work. Kyler did get it to work with DeAndre Hopkins, who was kind of similar, a little more athletically gifted than Harrison, but I think that he could be fine for this pick, and I think he'd be fine up here too if they get that to work out. So other than that, what did he do? He went Omarion Hampton and Teterio McMillan. So basically, he swapped T. Higgins for Tet, or Garrett Wilson, or JSN for Tet. That was the one or the 2-for-1. So if Teterio McMillan is worth the pickup here, this is going to be fine and it will be unique. I don't like that. I wouldn't recommend doing it. I think the name of the game is getting separation, and he doesn't, uh, or didn't last year. All right, so I need wide receiver. Gonna definitely take Cortland Sutton. Man, I don't love this. Let's go ahead and take Sutton. Get most mostly players from that division. I kind of want to go ahead and take Kamara. Do I have any Kamara with? I think I'd just go ahead and take Kamara and then go very deep at wide receiver. Hopefully, they don't empty out on the way back around. I I have a little bit of Jawan Jennings. I'm not that into Jerry Judy. I took him a bunch early, assuming they may get Kirk Cousins and the offense might run okay. I haven't taken him in a long time though. And Pickens, I'm fully out on at ADP. I start looking at Pickens at like 76, 77. I guess what I should have done there, I completely forgot. I should have pulled up Jacoby Myers. That's what I should have done. Anthony. Yeah, if I'm going to be different, pull up Chase Brown and take Higgins, come back for Burrow. Yeah. The thing about that is when the contest launched, it was only for a couple weeks, but whenever it launched, Chase Brown was actually his ADP was uh, up here with Josh Jacobs, Bucky Irving, and Chuba was over here with like DJ Moore. So those two running backs have been all over the place. So pulling him up, like I think people at the beginning of these contests might have just been doing that, slamming all three Bengals and then taking Burrow. Yeah, like the day one boards were nuts. Like Hollywood Brown didn't have an ADP. It was great. I have like 8 or 9 teams with Hollywood at like 170. Like he's one of my higher exposed players just because I noticed that he didn't get ranked. So I took a bunch of them. At ADP now, I think it's a fine click, but I had like 20 some percent of him when it was like that. But not all of it was good. I wasn't on Restrepo at every level, and he started at like 130. He commented on his 40. He said that during the run of the 40 or when he took off, that he got a hamstring pull and it looked really slow and it looked bad. And that would make a lot of sense if that's true. So, and I didn't look at the order that the drills were done, but if the, yeah, I agree. If I ran a 4.9, we would definitely make up some kind of story. But if that was the last drill they done, it's a feasible thing. But if they ran the short shuttle, the 20-yard shuttle after the like it wouldn't make any sense because he did very well in the short shuttle. So like I don't know if they do the 40 first, last or what, but I I also seen some things about like he actually looked good during the drills, like during the throwing stuff. And I don't think he would have continued doing the throwing stuff, like the receiving stuff, uh, if uh, if his hamstring got pulled during the 40. So it would make sense that that might have been the last thing they done. Let's see, naked Patrick Mahomes, love it. Patrick Mahomes at least has a couple people to backstack with, and it's take not having the number one receiver with a player doesn't mean that it's not possible for you to stack with him. He should have said something cool like, "I don't need 40 yards to beat my." Yeah, I'm a route, and that is true. Like based on what I seen when I watched tape, was he was the best route runner in the class. Like he's always open. His ability to put his foot in the ground and create separation is is really good. Like he has like is he going to run away from a defender? Probably not. Is he going to create a little bit of separation and move the sticks? Yeah. He's absolutely going to do that. Well, Khalil Shakir goes. I don't have I think I have 1% Shakir right now. this was a time I might have actually taken him. Yeah, on tape he catches everything, like literally everything. Yeah, he's not a big guy, but anything in his vicinity, just it, you might as well just say it's caught, right? I think I think I'm just willing to take Steph Diggs here and hope Drake May falls all the way back and Josh Downs. Like I do wish that I would have thought about taking Myers before um if I would have thought about taking Myers up there, that would have felt so much better because I like I like Caleb. Like I've been out on Caleb Johnson this whole process. Right here is about where I think he should have been going the whole time. I always thought that he was a merchant. Whoops. He was a merchant of a great offensive line, and whenever he had to try to make movement behind the line of scrimmage, he didn't look good. But whenever he got to run free and somebody tried to arm tackle him, he obviously would just run through it. He's what 225. So like if he wasn't running through those, he would not be worthy of anything. But if he lands on a team that can block for him like that, he's going to smash. Like he's worth a reasonable pick. I just thought that up above all these other players, I've never liked it. Maybe the Titans draft him and he links up with his college QB. Yeah. Like if the Titans can land Restrepo at the top of the third round and he would pair like the problem with that is most likely one of Luther Burden or Amika Ibuka is going to be available at the top of the first or the top of the second. So I'm going to guess that there's a really good chance that one of those two guys go there. Now, if Cam Ward tells them that he really wants to try to get Restrepo, like, and they have somebody else, like, they could, like, they actually don't need a ton of things. Like, in my opinion, they have a reasonably good roster for as bad as they were. They fixed their offensive line for the most part. And, like, Tony Pollard and Tajay Spears are okay. Like, they're perfectly serviceable. They're going to be better this year, another year in that system, and a better offensive line. Could happen. Jags did the same thing when they were drafting Lawrence by taking ETN. Yeah, but the problem with that was ETN was on the board then, right? Like he was a second round pick or the top. They either traded back in to the back of the first and got him, or at the beginning of the second. I think it was the beginning of the second. I can't remember for sure. Um, but yeah, I would love to see that for Restrepo. The biggest problem I'm seeing for Restrepo is that so many teams have slot guys right now, and I don't think he's gonna be very good at anything other than slot. I have a ton of Restrepo. I really believe in him. Uh, like I'm not gonna say he can be Julian Edelman or Wes Welker or anybody like that, but he could be like a miniature version of that. Like a I don't know who exactly to compare him to, but that's the style he plays. Like he attacks the ball. Like he is nowhere near as talented as this player, but from what I've seen, like he attacks the ball kind of like Steve Smith Sr. did. When you're drafting, do you have to mental list of who you're trying to get for the next 4 or 5 rounds? Yeah, I always try to do that. Man, like, do I think I just take. I was planning on going Drake May here, but I did not expect Bo Nix to fall back with. So I think we just do this. I think we just go ahead and double stack Bo Nix. I needed wide receiver. I did not expect Bo Nix to fall 20 picks, 17 picks, I guess, with Cortland Sutton. Like, my plan worked and something better fell in. So I don't mind this. Don't mind this at all. Having Bowers means I don't even have to look at tight end for a while. When I draft, I'm trying to calculate variations, etc., to anticipate the next few picks. Have an idea of 11 to 15 setup, but call it threading the needle. Yeah, right. Like, and both of the like this is a quarterback room that I'm very comfortable stopping at two. So Justin Herzig, who is by far a better best ball player than me, he might be the number one in the world. Like, he's definitely top five, right? Uh, he says that at this point, because the schedule's not out, you should always go three quarterbacks. Uh, and three quarterbacks is by far the best for advancing. I don't know if, and I mean that makes a lot of sense. I so if another quarterback falls with a stack, I might take him. Like, if Anthony Richardson falls a full round, I might throw him in. I might throw in a Daniel Jones the very last round, something like that. Probably not. I think I would rather risk it with the two rushing upside quarterbacks with the double stack here. Hopefully, I've seen Kincaid sliding a lot lately, and that's what I want. Like, I'm hoping Kincaid makes it over here, but it looks like everybody's taking tight end right now. Nobody likes Kincaid, with good reason. DeAndre Swift, his new ADP seems to be 120 to 125. He's going there almost every draft now. Pacheco had a video today, showed him working out. Showing his. I don't know if it was supposed to be comedy or not, but I thought it was just comedy. It was like him prepping, and it was just him stomping the ground like three times and then taking off. And he looked very serious. So I think it was an actual workout. On the it could be strength building on the legs. I'm not a trainer, obviously, but you know, like, it looked funny to me because like he practiced with his running style. It was great. Elite quarterback and tight end is unique. Most of us are, yeah, and that the wide receiver heavy stuff works. Like, people don't like to do what I'm doing here because it doesn't feel good, right? It does not feel good to be behind at wide receiver. And if the room punishes you, sometimes it's really hard to fall out. And I know I was just saying that I wanted Kincaid to fall back. I actually kind of forgot that I had Bowers. But if I take Kincaid here, I can just be done at tight end also. Man, do I? I don't really. Thank you. Thank you, K Dog. I might have pulled the trigger on him, and I did not want to pull the trigger on him. So I've actually pulled Jaden Higgins way up. I think I'm just going to start taking him at 130 every draft. Leg up has him moved up higher. Uh, I think somebody said, I haven't looked at ETR stuff, but somebody else told me that um, I am going to peak at running back. if I do this, I mean, I could pretty much just go running backs the rest of the draft. I mean, fit in two more receivers, maybe three. Yeah, I think I like taking Higgins there. There's a if I get two running backs all the way down to Algier on the way back, like I'm perfectly happy with the way this looks. Genty and Kamara are elite, should be elite running backs this year, or at least he should be a one and Kamara a two. And if I can fill in the weeks, I think I'll feel comfortable with that. So much value at the end of the draft with wide receiver. I'm fine with spamming. Yeah, I I love like the wide receivers in rounds 18 to 20 feel like 400% better than the running backs. I'm pretty on board with the once Eckler, Martinez, Braylon Allen go off the board that it's like a completely, it's not like a one tier change. It's like a three-tier change. Fall more in love with the idea of Milrow to Steelers as a 20th round pick. Yeah, I mean, they could be on board with that. Why do you like Higgins so much? Only curious. I have no opinion on him. I do love Jaden Higgins is a slightly better version of Io Manor. Like he's just a like if you follow Hayden Winks and Josh Norris's videos, like they did one on Jaden Higgins recently, and it said all like they showed the things that I felt when I watched the tape. Like he basically never lets balls get by him. His target rate, catch rate is like insanely high. I don't remember the exact. I don't want to give a number because I don't remember the numbers. Um, he's he's incredibly good at g- running routes, getting open, and at let me let me bring this up real quick. I have a file of some stuff. I won't bring it on stream, but I can tell you the numbers. So Jaden Higgins A dot was 12.1. His for last year, his career A dot was 13.3. He only had two drops last year out of 130 targets. And his yards per route run was 2.66. And he had a 56% chance or contested catch rate. So, yeah. I haven't done the wide receivers yet. But yeah, he's 6'4", 215. That's what I had pre combine, and I believe he checked in at that. So he's like the same size as Io Manor. Yeah. Oh yeah, he is a prototypical X receiver. Yeah, he is. So you have a theory that teams like to get clones quarterbacks that kill them. Yeah, I mean that is for sure. Like a lot of teams will do that. Or like the I heard a funny theory earlier today that the Bills got Josh Palmer because Josh Palmer always has his best games against Kansas City. They didn't Liam didn't expressly say that, but he kind of joked that he's noticed that and that that would be hilarious if that's true. Yeah, so the one thing about Higgins is you hear that the NFL, the people who are talking to the NFL teams, all have him high in their rankings because of just because that the things they're hearing is that the NFL believes in him. So every one of those running backs that I said I wanted two of to fall back, every one of them's available. Ray Davis last year had 3 receiving touchdowns, which people don't notice. Excuse me. I don't know how loud that was. Let me know. I'm sorry I couldn't get to the mute button. So I'll take Ray Davis as a secondary stack. I don't get to Jerome Ford very often. I want more Garindo overall. I'll just spam the Garindo here. This is going to be a unique pairing with Josh Allen. Like, because I took a player I don't take that often, and I only don't have a lot of Josh Allen because I have Lamar and Jaden Daniels above Josh Allen. So I have 10% of both of them and like 3% of them. But my exposure on Evans, Worthy, and Harrison are all, and Adams are all very high. And I got most of my Adams on the other side of the board. So I'm probably going to start not taking Adams as often to try to get even my exposures out on these quarterbacks. So hopefully I can get to some more Josh Allen. The fact that the Steelers let no one but 2 QBs go. I've been searching for years. Yeah, I don't think the Steelers are going like if I were the Steelers, I would not want to take a quarterback at pick 21. You just did that 3 years ago, and it was horrific. Now, if Milroe's available in round 2, I could see that. I could see them trading up to like, or even trading back a few picks. If a team thinks that if Colston Loveland's still on the board, which I don't believe, and somebody wants to jump the Chargers to take Loveland, I could see Pittsburgh trading back a few spots and then taking a quarterback, and then taking the quarterback, something like that. Because you really think there's any chance that, let's say they move back 5 picks, how many of those teams in that area would be willing? All they'd have to worry about is another team trading up in front of them again. Phil, you have 31% Allen, and stacking him sucks. There's no, yeah. Yeah, I'd have like no Josh Palmer. Like I've seen him go all the way up to like 180, like sometimes even in the 170s and apparently in the 160s to this guy who took Joe Burrow at 23. That's a new record right here. Josh Palmer 168. That's the highest I've seen him, but different guy, different situation. Yeah, I totally get that, but sports people generally have unreasonable what do they call it, like whenever something you worry about something, like how the baseball players wear the same underwear for a month, stuff like that. The word's escaping me, but yeah, you all know what I'm talking about. And like the lucky glove that they, even though they don't use it, they have to like warm up with it, weird stuff like that. Like in a sport, people in sports, a lot of them have little quirks like that. And maybe they just think that quarterback at 21 is unlucky. That's kind of my thought. They've been trying to patchwork QB room for many years. Maybe they just get their guy. Yeah, yeah. But if they do that, I don't think they're going to want to do it at that pick, but that's just me. Now, if Geno Smith was available here, I would have taken him. He's not. I can add two more running backs here. I've been trying to get my Blake Corum exposure up a little bit. Uh, so this works out perfectly. I get him 14 picks past ADP, and I get RJ Harvey 10 picks past ADP. And I feel very good about this running back room now. My wide receiver, and now I can spend every remaining pick on wide receiver. Like this wide receiver room works, but it's definitely not the strongest. But this, like we were talking about earlier, being done at Damian Martinez, it's kind of, it just feels better to be done by then, and the other positions are basically done as well. So we'll go ahead and just click onto just wide receiver. Been trying to patchwork the QB room for many years. They just get, yeah, I just read that twice. I don't know what the Steelers do. It's very interesting to me what they're going to do. Like Josh and Hayden last night, I watched their round 1 and 2 mock. They had the Steelers taking Amari and Hampton, which I could see. Just run back Thunder and Lightning, put him with Arthur Smith. Arthur Smith loves to run the ball. Um, I don't know how likely that is. It's not out of the realm of possibilities. It's not something that, as a Hampton Bull, I really want to hear. Um, that's probably one of the worst spots he could land. Maybe I don't know. Like Najee still had 1,000 yards and 7 touchdowns last year. What was it? Six touchdowns, 1,000 yards. Right. That's the worry, is the Steelers' offensive line sucks really bad. And if they understand that, and they were kind of injured last year, if I remember correctly. So they might play better this year. I don't know. But the guys like Jalen Warren are usually a little more productive when there's a bad offensive line, right? Like you get somebody in there who is one of the best pass blockers in the league at running back, who can also, like, he understands when he can leak out for the little drop offs and stuff. And if they get Aaron Rodgers, like Rodgers does, like that is one thing he does well. He will check down to the running back. Najee wasn't bad, but the line didn't do him any favors. Completely different situation with the Chargers. Yes. Yeah. I don't know. What is your Najee exposure? I know it's pretty high. I had like, I think it was 10 or 11% when he was going at the one. Like, I was basically taking him at the 8-9 turn. Like, basically any time in the 9th round, I would take him while his ADP was there for a little while. So I got a bunch of exposure to him. And since he's moved up, if he's in the 7th round, I will take him sometimes. But he tends to go before the 7th round. So I'm probably not going to take a lot of them until the post-draft contest. Okay, yeah. And yeah, that's perfectly fine. Like, if you didn't have any of them and you like the situation, just eating the ADP cost, like sometimes you got to do it. And that's absolutely what I'm going to do with my 0% Christian McCaffrey. If it comes out that he's fully healthy and we see with our eyes that he's fully healthy, I'm not going to be at 0% after the draft. Like, I will definitely have above 10% of him at that point. Like last year, I got burned pretty bad by McCaffrey last year. In Eliminator, I did 50 Eliminators. I had 18% CMC. And in the BBM, I had 12.6%. So I got wrecked pretty hard. All right, so take everybody's darling Kyle Williams here. We'll do it. We'll give him a 17th round click. And then because I want to add a rookie, and he's one of the last rookies I like. And I don't have a Charger, and I since I have somebody from every division in the AFC West, I think I'm just gonna go ahead and take Mike Williams, get a little bit of him. I don't have much. I like I like his situation now. So now I have Brock Bowers, Mike Williams, Mims, Sutton, Worthy, hopefully Genty. So yeah, I don't have any AFC East people to go against Josh Allen. So maybe that's what I do at the end. Maybe I take a Malik Washington if he's available, something like that. Like I'm not really that worried about it. Like that's just something you do to split ties. And Mike Williams is a player I do want to get. I would like to have about 4% of him. He wasn't drafted a bunch of the contest. Not every draft for a bunch of the contests. So being a little like being at 4% actually would be really good on him. Although he's been drafted almost every draft since it was what 55% or so when free agency hit. Also consider there are about 24 wide receiver and 16 running backs who get like 1K yards. So if you identify someone, right, hold them to the higher value. Yeah, like especially the running backs. Like I didn't realize that that was the actual number. Like that makes sense though, especially with the additional game. And Brees Hall's never been one of those, right? Oh yeah, yesterday I said I think I was like 7 to 8% Brees Hall. I was wrong. I apparently like him more than I thought. I'm gonna have to stop clicking him as much because I have 11%. So that's another player that I'm probably gonna like not take him for a while, and that's another place I'll get some Josh Allen. Uh, there are people between Monty and Najee who shouldn't be higher than Harris. Yeah, it's a loose estimate based on historical performances, but those numbers are in your head. Okay, something you've seen before. Like, yeah, I mean, it makes sense. That I mean, those numbers feel correct. And I don't know which players you're talking about. Like Tracy, I'm kind of completely out on Tyrone Tracy now that they signed Russell Wilson. Russell Wilson is awful for running backs who can catch the ball. Like just awful. Yeah, I like I said yesterday, I don't know why like I was in on him last year in the first round. So, it's more of a if I don't take him this year in the third round and he smashes, I'm going to feel even worse about losing out on him last year. So, I didn't want to be at 11%. I definitely don't want to be there. I want to be more at 8%. Uh, yeah, that's another thing. Who knows if how much volume Tyrone Tracy can handle. Like his situation got so much worse with Russell Wilson, and he's never been a three down back, right? I mean, if they're going to force me to take Troy Franklin and triple stack this, I mean, I think I do. I think I just do that, and then I want a rookie at the back end of this. What do you guys think, Savion or Restrepo? I think I don't want to add more Restrepo, honestly. Like I have so much. Also worried about Connor because he got the year last year, but what a miracle. Got through the year. Can he do it again? And like he actually missed week 17 last year, right? I have quite a bit of Connor. But I don't I definitely want to have him in 6 running back teams at this point. So when Cup Epic fails, yeah, right. Oh yeah, I actually have a little bit of MVS right now. I don't know if you've seen it. Apparently he went. Wow, I have a lot less than I thought. I thought I had a lot more than that. I'll definitely have to start clicking him a little more aggressive now. I wish, like, I kind of wish MVS would have been the Troy Franklin pick if I wasn't stacked. So the team: Josh Allen, Bo Nix on a 20 pick slide, Ashton Genty, Alvin Kamara, Ray Davis, Isaac Garendo, Blake Corum, RJ Harvey. Wide receivers: got 10 wide receivers: Xavier Worthy, Cortland Sutton, Marvin Mims, and Troy Franklin, all stacked with Bo Nix. Diggs, Downs, Jaden Higgins, Kyle Williams, Mike Williams, and Savion Williams. 3 Williams, 3 Denver receivers. What can go wrong? When in doubt, like I not only correlated the team, I correlated the last names. Who else is doing that? So, like but anyway, I was gonna say, what was I gonna bring something up at the end? Yeah, Denver Williams. There we go. But I think that's gonna do it for today. I appreciate the 3 of you who come out. If you have not, please like and subscribe. And I should be back on tomorrow, same time. I will see everybody later.